said I was going to be here on 8 a.m. Yep, there we go. So funny. So funny because I totally bedhead, huh? It is so warm right now. What else? I haven't looked at my roadmap, my daily roadmap in days, but honestly, it's okay because I had very few things penciled in. But one of the things I had penciled in or pinned in, and I checked it off. Remember I talked about that little dopamine hit of ta-da, I did it. Kate and Mike were here, went to Tony and Michael's, didn't do any TikTok lives, did one at noon. Oh, I didn't pick up dry cleaning. I'll throw that over. Yay. TikTok live 8 a.m. on a muggy Saturday morning here in Pennsylvania. So, hey, good morning. Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach. How's it going, people? How's it going, bugs and whatnot? I wanted to see if I could do this outside because it has been so hot and it's just going to get hotter. So this is allegedly the cold weather. It's a Saturday morning. Now, I know it's a Saturday morning of many of us have like a holiday weekend. Now, I say many of us. I mean, I live in the U.S. and I also work for myself. So pretty much every weekend could be a holiday weekend for me. But I figured I would show up early on a Saturday morning just as some encouragement, maybe some problem solving, some you're not alone in this. I'm here with you. Let me help you with what you're struggling with. If you have clutter and you said, well, 4th of July, too busy, but, how about something over the weekend? We can, garage, basement, stuff like that there. Also, frankly, I was just thinking of this when I came out to our patio and then went into the kitchen to get myself an iced tea, is maybe it's too hot for you to be outside. Maybe it'll be nice for you to hang out in the air conditioning or even just in the cooler temperature slightly of your house. And maybe that might motivate you to do some decluttering. I know myself, I don't tend to work on stuff in the basement in the winter because it's chillier down there. But on a day like this, I might possibly go down there and kind of putter around and see what stuff that I thought I couldn't part with, that I then decided, you know what, I can part with this. It happens. It happens. It totally does. You will change your mind about stuff if you allow yourself the ability to do so. So good morning, everybody. Beth, as I said, Destination Decluttered Life Coach. How can I help you with your clutter this morning? I ask you the question. You ask yourself the question. Listen for the answer and let me know. I have a few ideas, but I could talk about clutter all day. That's why I'm going to do a podcast. But for now, I want to be able to help you here. All right? Couple of quick stories I can tell you while you're thinking of your own clutter stuff is two awesome things, very minimal, but that happened to me over the past couple of days that I was so excited about, stuff related. One is that I was reunited and it feels so good. I was reunited with this bag that I bought, this kind of a reusable bag that tucks into a little pocket. It's called a nano bag. I had one that was in a pattern that I really liked, and then sometimes the fact that they tuck into something so small that that I lost it somewhere, and I was like, oh, this is a bummer. I really like the pattern on that. And then I thought, well, I'll find it. I didn't find it. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to buy another one because it was really useful. I went and bought another one. Actually, I got two. They were not the size I wanted, but I said, oh, well, the big one is fine. And then no lie, here was something that was really kind of fun. This is why I'm sharing the story. I only share fun stories. We were going over to a 4th of July party at a friend's house, and we brought something, so I put it in the bag that I repurchased, and our friend Tony said, hey, wait a minute, what is that bag? I have one that I found in after a party once, and lo and behold, I was reunited with my lovely patterned nano bag. So that was cool. Another thing, since I don't see it, unless I'm missing any questions about decluttering or helpful hints or anything you're struggling with, another really cool thing was talk about in the kind of reusing the things that you have already. Is we went to a friend's house and then we needed some snacks, and then we were going to bring over some snacks because we had some friends over. So we typically don't have a lot of snacks in the house because I love to snack. I will eat a snack like nobody's business. It's my mission in life. If there's something, it's like, oh, got to eat those snacks before they're gone. The only reason they get gone. But anyhow, I have a bunch of vintage, not Fiesta ware, what is it, Melmac ware, Boonton, there's a specific pattern of it, but I have these little kind of, oh, you know what it is? It's the Russell Wright stuff. I have these little vintage kind of round things. It's Russell Wright. You can look it up. 1L at the end of Russell. And I was going to put them all out, but what I did was I found a tray that I had, and I just started putting them in them. Lo and behold, you guys, I'm so excited. I discovered that these 4 Russell Wright round things, and then another one that was like another Melmac, vintage Melmac, and this other Russell Wright thing that I think was supposed to be a pour, fits wonderfully on this green, funky green tray I have. And it kind of made an instant, like, cheese tray that I was actually using the stuff I had. So I offer to you, think about the stuff you have in your home. Are you using it? Could you use some of the stuff that you've been waiting to use this weekend? Could you have people over for hot dogs and you serve it on the fancy china that's been hanging around in the hutch ever since your great-grandmother passed? Could you use those, the silver to eat ice cream with, Could you, I don't know, what's another thing? How about having your iced tea in a fancy crystal goblet? Or maybe you had saved, this is so funny, these are not our souvenirs. We have 2, these are Tervis tumblers, 2 Tervis tumblers I got from, seriously, the Salvation Army thrift store in Lebanon, PA. And they both have Turks and Caicos things on them. And we've not been there, but these are great mugs. So use the fancy stuff. Use the stuff you have. And if you're not using it, don't get judgy. Being judgy is totally over here. That's the unhelpful stuff. Get curious why you're not using the stuff you have. I try to use the stuff I have. Oh, that was a cool thing too. When I've been here and we've talked about surface clutter, stored clutter, and sentimental clutter, and in that kind of middle group of stored clutter being the things you have a lot of that they're behind doors, like in a cupboard or in a closet, or in there in a drawer, like in your kitchen or your bedroom or your bathroom. Mugs tend to come up. Now, I drink tea, my husband drinks coffee. So coffee mugs, how many do you need? How many do you use? Now, these things may go back and forth between, for 99.9% of the time, it's my husband and me in our little house. Occasionally, we'll have people over, maybe just hanging out as friends, or music friends recording. My husband has a little setup. Or maybe have overnight guests. We had overnight guests for the past 3 nights, not last night. And it was great to have a quantity of mugs, so we weren't always washing them. But we had kind of just the right amount. There weren't too many. They were easy to access. Our friends knew where to find them, and then when they found them, they knew that they were going to be, not cracked or chipped, things like that. So I just asked you even this morning, are you using the stuff you have? Is there something you're not using that's kind of weighing you down? Oh, I really should use that thing. Make a plan to use it. Have a party and say, this is the party where I'm going to do nothing but open up those things of saved cocktail napkins with Ann Tainter sayings on them, and I'm going to use the good stuff. You guys, life is too short. Use the good stuff now, okay? Good morning, Jennifer. Nice to see you. Yeah, annoying ASMR. My granny always saved her pretty stuff for good and never used it. You right now, your life right now is worthy enough to use the good stuff. I have practiced that myself. Like my husband and I, if there's a special occasion, I guess that doesn't count. But for example, when we have friends over, we have people come over sometimes for a movie night, I will use literally the good silver. I inherited that from my great aunt. I never saw it in her lifetime. She never used it. But when she passed, I got it because she was also my godmother. God, my Boston accent comes out when I talk about that. It's because where I grew up. But I try to use that when they are around. Or let's say we have people over and I use the serving pieces, the big spoon and things like that. So please, oh please, yeah, don't be afraid. Quilting cats and bats. You bring up a really good word that I wanna point out to you and to everybody. I saved a ton of fabric for quilting, but too afraid to use it. Yeah, fear. Just notice fear crops up in a lot of interesting ways. With, life is too short not to use the good supplies. I see Wendy Rose Artist, who is an artist, is also saying, I want to give you a hint. Okay, let me give you the trade secrets of me being a decluttering life coach and working with one-on-one clients. I will say it right now. Fear is stopping you from doing the things you want to. Shyness is nice, but shyness can stop you from doing all the things you want to. What is shyness? Nothing. Sorry, I was quoting the Smiths. I'm Gen X. I quote music all the time, so just know that about me, okay? Fear, and all its little minions are the things that are causing you to grab onto things that you know, part of you knows you don't want anymore. Yeah, the fear of not being able to get it again. It's going to happen. I actually commented on somebody's video here on TikTok, a woman who talked about her thought process about why she goes and buys all the stuff when she finds a product, a bath, like a Olay lotion or something, that when she finds something that works, she buys it all. She buys a ton of it in case they don't make it again. My mother does that. I used to do that because that's how I saw people do it. But here's the thing I want you to realize is sometimes when you hang on to the stuff, it breaks down. It doesn't become as good. It gets brittle. You know, maybe, for example, when you were talking about quilting, yeah, Diane is saying, what if I can't get more? But the quilting stuff, maybe moths will get to it between the time you used it. You know, maybe it gets faded or the folds get creased in and the folds get kind of that burn mark, the fadey mark onto it. Yeah, fear freezes, love thaws. Love. Think about it. Fear and all the little sub variations, and love, all the sub variations. Love allows you to release the stuff. Now, this is kind of how I coach about this stuff because it is so true. You have thoughts in your head that make you feel a feeling. Is it fear or love? I mean, there's all flavors of those things. Is it fear or love? If you're feeling fear because of the thought you have, I might not be able to get it again, that's too nice, I can't use that, then you're going to hang on to it even if you don't want it anymore. Right, Birdie? Right, Birdie? It's early enough yet. Love. Love is on the other side of fear. Loving yourself to say, God damn it, I'm worth using the good sterling silver spoons even if I'm eating a bowl of cereal out of my Fiesta ware. You know? My friends are good enough that I'm going to use those dessert plates for that pie somebody brought over, even if it's a pie from the Acme and we're eating it after watching Pee-wee's Playhouse. Your life is good enough to use all the good stuff now. Okay? All right. Jenna Lee says, well, this is timely. We are trying to declutter our home in preparation for going into ministry. Awesome. Decluttering your home, whatever reason you have that you want to get rid of clutter, that you want to remove clutter from your home, is a good enough reason to start. Ministry, moving, just being sick of being surrounded by too much stuff. Yeah, that one persona says, yes, did that with a shower gel. Say, buying all the things, the scent broke down and didn't smell as good after a while. These things happen. It's almost like trying to hoard all the corn when it's corn season, fresh corn right now. My husband freaking loves corn on the cob. Where we live in Pennsylvania, it is becoming corn season. We have and you know, there are ways you can do it. You can freeze it, but there's nothing like using it fresh. So notice that you try to hoard the things, the fear of lack, of not having the thing you want, the fear of somebody else getting it. Fear doesn't bring out the best in us. No. Love does. Love for yourself, love for your fellow human being, love for all the versions of yourself. I used to love that, but I don't like it anymore. It's okay for me to let it go. I will share this with somebody else. The delight you have in saying, hey, I've got this thing. Would you like it? Yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Then we don't have it. We did that. We had a, what was it? I saw it in the garage this morning. We had a trimmer that came with our lawnmower. We already had a trimmer, but it was a package deal. When we got it, we realized the trimmer that came was wicked heavy, and my husband wasn't using it, so we literally pulled it out of circulation and said, we're going to find a good home for this. And then our friends that were visiting this weekend, my husband mentioned, hey, would you guys be interested in this? Sure, we'll have it. Now they have a trimmer and we don't have two. It's great. We both feel good. Here, I just saw something. Now that people are kind of waking up, I know we've got, like, the caffeine is coming through, and you're like, oh my God, okay, it's Saturday in the park, you know? Somebody says, now that one persona says, now I try to think that if it does go out, it's a chance to explore and find a new love. Yes, Maybe there's something better that came out on the market. Maybe there's a scent you like different. Maybe you just like to mix it up too. Yeah, I like to do that. Like I literally, you guys, I have to buy some liquid soap because the soap pump in our bathroom is running out of the soap. And so to me, I'm like, oh, I now have an opportunity to see if there's something new and different. Maybe it smells different. Maybe the color's nice for our thing. Use the running out of something as an opportunity to go explore. Maybe something even better is out there. Okay. Uh, Somebody's saying, will my insurance reimburse me for decluttering my house? I don't know. Ask them. I don't think so, but I'm not an insurance person, you know. Wendy Rose is saying, yes, I went through all my odd coffee cups, kept 2 favorites for each of us in the house. What an idea. What a great idea. Good day, sunshine. There we go. Kara, nice to see you. Going to the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump. Decluttering our family camp in Maine and finding vintage rattan for it. Love it. I am a fan of the vintage rattan. There was a picture. So when my parents got married, they were very poor. Not very poor, that sounds dramatic. They didn't have a lot of money starting out. There's a picture of my dad. God, he might have been in his late 20s, sitting in their very first apartment, and no lie, their couch was the porch couch from my grandmother's. Here's an old-timey word for you, and I don't know if it's specifically was used in the Boston area. My grandmother, it was on her piazza. That's what they used to call the back porch, the screened-in porch on my grandmother's house, the piazza. And it was the divan on the piazza. Now, if that isn't, talk about, you know what I collect? You know, some of the things I collect is old-timey words like that. But noting that you're looking for something that you're excited about, knowing it's out there, is kind of the fun of making space for stuff. And that's that kind of, you get an idea in your head. What do I want my home to look like? What do I want that room to look like? I want to have a vintage rattan set. I have wanted one of those for decades. A 3-strand or more. None of the, I didn't want a single strand. I wanted the 3 strands where they have the 3 strands of things. The Paul Frankel stuff, that was huge and massive and kind of more sturdy. I ended up buying a whole set off of somebody for like $300 on eBay a number of years ago, and I have loved it. So good luck with your vintage rattan sourcing. I'll keep my eye out for you. Okay, yeah, lots of perfumes do not keep their smell. When you hang on to something for too long, it might change and not in the way you want it to. Okay. Good morning, Cynthia C. Nice to see you. And to Maria say you are so spot on this morning. All I do is talk about clutter. So I am very comfortable in talking about this stuff. It may be kind of new ideas to you, which is cool. It's cool to have new ideas in your brain. Noticing you're hanging on to maybe old ideas. Are your old ideas working for you? Is the way that you've been hanging on to living your life and hanging on to stuff and how you shop, the quantity of things you buy, the quality of things you buy, is that giving you the life you want? Now, I am telling you from where I live right now, and this is not to show off, it's just to show you what is possible. I freaking love my life. I love the stuff I have. I love the quality. I love the quantity. It hasn't, the way it's arranged, the colors, all the good stuff, but it hasn't always been this way. And because it hasn't always been this way, I think I appreciate it even more. Have you ever been that way? Where you didn't grow up, where you grew up where you didn't have air conditioning, and then you live in a house that has air conditioning, or you go somewhere and you appreciate it so much more than people who always think the air conditioning's around. Okay? Just think about these things. You can change the things you don't like. But you have to love yourself enough, and I know loving yourself is a tall order. You have to like yourself enough. You have to be willing to do something different to get a different life. A different life can be as easy as having a decluttered kitchen. A different life can even be, you know what, I'm going to go through the cupboards and I am sick of trying to dig through when I try to make potato salad to find that just right bowl for my potato salad because there's all this other stuff in the way. Clutter is the stuff that's in the way of the life you want to live. So get it out of the way, and then when you go open your cupboard, your hand will immediately go to just the right thing. Okay? Notice these things. Yeah. Wendy Rose. Yeah, you knew, because you're from what, New Bedford, Fall River? Yeah, you knew I was going to call it a piazza. Yeah. Yeah. My grandmother, piazza. Wicked funny. Yes, Paul Frankel is big bucks. Scott Haywood Wakefield. Nice. We'll make a TikTok. Awesome. Taking this decluttering show on the road. I love it. Yeah, I got mine. Actually, I did it. So, just read. This is so funny. So, Kara, talking about vintage rattan for just a quick sec. I ended up buying this set. It was so funny, and this is the funny thing about finally getting what you want. I got a set, and who was it? Shit, I did a write up on it on my old website, that's Retro Roadmap. It was a famous family. I won't waste everybody's time about this because it's not coming easily, but I can look it up. But it was a famous photographer whose family's photographer. I've been sloppy on my eyes lately. Whose family also did rattan in California. Because people have since gotten in touch with me about, do I know anything about it? And literally, it was just, I saw like the little metal thing on it. I can't remember his name, but I will share it with you. Okay, I promise to do that. Paul Frankel is very expensive, but whatever you have, be happy with it. And if you aren't, notice why you're not happy with it and see what might make you happy. Now that I have the vintage rattan set that I have, I don't look for it anymore, but I used to look for it for years. Save a picture of what you like on your computer. Kind of like a, what do you call that thing? Like a vision board. Save pictures of the stuff you like, because they will come into your life. Seriously, you'll start to notice them. I did that. I used to hate the boards, but I did back in the 90s. I made some books where I tore things out and cut things out of magazines and catalogs and stuff. And I cannot tell you, seriously, I could go through it with you. That would be pretty boring, though, to be like, yep, got that, yep, did that, yeah, went to there. It's kind of fun. It's like a checklist, okay? Oh, there we go. Wendy Rose, I know that feeling. Last week, I took all but 2 of my guitars that I haven't played and gave them to my nieces and nephews. Awesome. My husband is a guitar player, personally and professionally. He has reduced his guitars, but then they come in too. It's interesting, but he records and stuff, so it's okay. But here's the thing I will say with this. Having the things, have the quantity of things you have, the quantity of guitars, is each one of them different enough that it makes sense that you have them? Or do you have 14 of the same size chip and dip, or the 14 of the same acoustic guitar? Is it a repetition, or is it something different? Now, music things give you different tones, but think of the quantity of whatever you have, and do you need that many? Christine is asking what gorgeous architecture behind you. Okay, so real quick, this is just, I'm on our patio. We live in this very interesting, unusual, very small ranch house in Pennsylvania, but the person who built it back in the 50s loved, it's not mid-century, though it was built in the mid-century. It's not modern. It is like we call it the hacienda. It's like Spanish. A friend of mine, actually, it was very cool. She called it like a Hollywood bungalow. It's got some, what do you call it, red tile roofs on the front. It's a bunch of arches, stuff like that there. Honestly, this house is why we moved to this town. Because I saw that house and I had always wanted to live in a really cool house. Notice what I wanted, I got. Because my eyes and heart were open and willing to do something. I want that for you too. Okay? Yeah, Pamela just said, good idea. Pinterest. You can make a Pinterest board with the stuff you like. But notice that in order to get the stuff you like, you have to make room for it. And the stuff that's in the way of what you want is the stuff you don't want. Okay? There we go. Christine, 204 pairs of shoes. Do you have 204 feet? If so, no problem. Right? But think about, here's the thing too. I go deep, you guys. I do. I'm not just get rid of what you don't. Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy to say, just donate what you don't use anymore. Yeah. Like, when it's just shallow in, I know that doesn't work. If that was easy, you would have done it. Maybe you've done it already, and maybe you've left 204 pairs of shoes after that. The thing that's making you hold on to your stuff is a little bit deeper than that. So why not go deeper and figure out why I do still have these 204 pairs of shoes? I like to do it because I'm a decluttering life coach. Again, I don't know new people here. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I coach people one-on-one on Zoom, so I have clients all over the country. I have a free mailing list. You can find out about that on my website, destinationdecluttered.com. You can also even just follow me here on TikTok. I do these TikTok lives and I do videos too. I'm also sweating up a storm. It's already like in the 80s here. The reason you are hanging on to stuff is because you just have some thoughts in your head that make you feel a feeling. It can be as easy as that. It really can be. You have thoughts in your head, words in your head. Just words in your head like a ticker tape. Words strung together. Those words, remember that thing they used to say when you were a kid? Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt me. The only way that words can hurt you is if you think they're true. If you believe them to be true. Now, I get confused about beliefs and thoughts and like this. I just call them words in my head. I like to keep it simple. So what words in your head are causing you to feel like you have to hold on to stuff? Notice that. Notice what I did too is I just paused dramatically, but I paused because I want you to pause. I want you to slow down. Put your foot on the brake. I tend to work in car metaphors. I'm looking at my car in the driveway right here. What's going to get you to pause and say, wait a minute, why am I doing that? Everybody's always like, you got to do this, you got to do that. You're spinning, spinning, spinning. Sometimes your wheels are spinning because they're on the road to where you want to go to and you're moving forward. Other times your wheels are spinning. You're doing something that you think, and it's not working. You're stuck in the mud. So when you're stuck in the mud and you're just spinning and you're not getting anywhere, stop. Stop it. Take your foot off the gas. Maybe put your foot on the brake. Say, wait a minute. What I'm doing isn't working. What I'm doing isn't giving me the results I want. So in order to get the result I want, I'm going to need to do something different. Yeah. Okay. Nikki Brown says, I've got the thought that I might need it. Okay. That's totally legit. You know? If you might need it, when might you need it? Like Wendy Rose is saying, summertime is a great way to get rid of bowls and platters. I never take it back from a cookout. Now, notice that, but also let the people know when you're dropping it off. Here, you don't need to give this back to me. It's kind of like passing the buck, though, I will say. Funny thing is I have a piece of, I used to collect vintage. I still do, but very rarely. I don't go actively search it. It just comes to me. I have a Russell Wright, I was talking about earlier, melamine tray, and I bought it. I know I thrifted it somewhere, and I flipped it up, and literally on the outside, it had pretty much, remember that? It seemed like old-timey, so it probably had that white tape with the threads going through it, like that you would use for, like, making bandages or something, and it had some woman's name written on it. That was pretty much the opposite, where it was like, hey, my deviled eggs are on this, but this is mine, I want it back, right? So, yes, the waste of wasting. Diana, here's the interesting thing about wasting, fear of wasting. What you're wasting is you not feeling good about your life and the stuff you have. How about this? I like to reframe it. I like to just look at it from a different perspective. When you have stuff in your home that you're not using, it is sitting there being like, "Mwah, I'm not being used." It is missing the opportunity to go be used by somebody else. It's kind of like dating. If you're dating somebody and it's not working out for you, but you still are staying dating, you both are missing the opportunity to go connect up with somebody who really would work out for you. So what is the waste? The waste happens, you guys. The waste happens way back in the roadmap, in the process. The waste happens when you, for whatever reason, acquired an item that doesn't work out for you now. You spent the money. If it's a fear of wasting money, you've already spent the money. You will not, with very few exceptions, you will not get your money back. People will not buy a bunch of used shoes unless they are of a quantity and quality, or, a quality of wear and tear and a brand name that they might possibly buy. And even then, it's a fraction of what you paid for it, like a used car, okay? But notice, everybody, notice the things that have come up, even just the short time. The thoughts, the words in your head that are causing you to feel a feeling and hang on to stuff, all of that is on the side of fear. Fear of lack. Fear of wasting is you being judgy about stuff and getting in trouble. You can't waste that. That's good. You might need it someday. I don't know about you, but I grew up surrounded by people like that because they legitimately grew up with very little, and it was exacerbated by the Great Depression of the 20s and 30s. We live in a different time, though, but our brains are like, it's almost like, remember, on your phone when you get that notification that you need to update an app? Like your app store says, like, it's a newer version of Facebook, and hit the button and it automatically updates. Our brain doesn't work that way. We have to manually update the script that is running in our head to the most recent version. a lot of times the messages that we grew up with just stay embedded and we don't even think about it. But it really doesn't match how we're living now, with the ability to get items so quickly and inexpensively for where we are in our own lives. Well, that may have worked when I was just starting out in my 20s. I didn't have a lot, but now I keep on acquiring like I did. I keep on drinking like I was in my 20s, and it's not working out as well as it did back then. Not that it worked out well back then, but I digress. The things you did at a certain time in your life maybe worked for then, but right now, if you are watching me and you're hanging out and you're learning about clutter, it's because it's as simple as you've got some stuff in your house that you don't want anymore, but you're afraid to let it go. Fear. Afraid. A fear of letting it go. But that's only half the story, you guys, here. That's only, who was it? Paul Harvey. The rest of the story. Page 3. He was on the radio. I'm a Gen Xer. I just talk about stuff in pop culture references. This is how my brain works. I love how my brain works right now. Who knows what it's going to work like in 10 years. I have dementia and Alzheimer's in my family. I may not be the same sharp cookie like I am now. I may be a dull balloon. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. The other side of fear is love. Notice how when you are feeling love, you maybe have some kind words. It's okay to let that go. You're not going to get in trouble. No, and it's not waste. You deserve to live a life only surrounded by the things you love, the things that work well to you. Love yourself enough to release the stuff that you don't want. Trusting and knowing that when you do that, you're making space for what you do want, even if what you just want is more space. Maybe you're not filling up that space with more stuff, but you're enjoying the breathing room. So many people, it's really interesting to me, and I see some new messages, but I just want to leave you with this, and then I'll pop back into them. So many people describe the physical feeling of clutter as feeling like they're drowning, that they're paralyzed, that they can't move, and that they can't breathe. So how about this? Breathe and move. Deep breaths. Move your body. You can do something about it, even though it tends to, the way you've been thinking about it freezes you up. There's another way that you can think about it that gets you going. Okay, yes. Went from not having anything to too much of everything. Yes, notice this you've got not enough, an empty pit in your stomach. You are hungry. Notice how it's kind of like one of those temperature things when somebody's trying to raise money, you know. You've hit your set point, your just right point, but you don't realize it because you've never been there before. So you keep on acquiring and acquiring, because we also live in a society that says more, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? More, buy more things. No, you've just bought the wrong thing. You got to buy this. You got to buy that. You don't realize until you feel underwater, overwhelmed, stuck, that, whoa, you know what? This doesn't feel good. You know what you do? You back off then. You start swimming out. You try to put that aside, push that out, get rid of that. Let go of that. Don't bring more things in, let that thing go. Don't bring more things in, let that thing go. Don't bring more things in, let that thing go. Look at, I'm kind of swimming, guys. Keep on swimming. When I do that, it lowers the quantity of items in my house until I feel, ooh, this feels better. Yep. And then it becomes, this is where my Gen X 70s brain, kid brain, clucks over. Because I want you to think of this. Do you ever play that game, Don't Break the Ice? If you didn't, just run with me here. But if you did, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can get rid of a lot of ice cubes and it doesn't affect you. But you will get down to a certain amount of things that anything less than that feels like not enough. Now, this set point can change from time to time. When you're used to having this much, from going from here to here seems dramatic. When you do it a bit at a time, you expand your nervous system to be comfortable with less and feel okay and secure with it. But at a certain point, there may be one that if I do one more, it would be like my husband and I only having one plate in the house. There's two of us. We need at least 2 plates. So notice that there is a set point, but it's expandable. But you will get to a certain point, and it's different for everybody, where whatever, that just feels like too little. I myself am experimenting with not having as much as I did, and I kind of like it. Because I now have space for something. Like we had space in my office to put a queen-size air mattress when our friends came over. And it was easy peasy because I have a big old space in that room. I didn't have to move furniture. Now, the next time they come over, I have a chair that's going to go in that corner because I'm inheriting it from a friend. I don't have it yet, but all I'll need to do is move that one chair, and now I have space to invite friends over. Space can give you just breathing room, okay? Now, this is why I'm probably going to do a podcast, because I just think there's so many different, deeper layers of just stuff versus just put it in a clear box and get rid of what you don't wear anymore. But now I want to get to your questions and comments, so here I go. Okay, yep, all right. I will start leaving shoes at people's houses. That'll be interesting, right? Okay, here we go. I'm backing up here just a little bit because things swing by as I talk. Time is the most expensive waste. Yeah, it is. You guys, it's the only thing we can never buy and we never get back. And I don't know about you. I will share this. I'm going to be 58 in like a month. I know, because I'm probably not going to be living till 114. And even if I do, even if I have the quantity of years ahead of me that I have behind me, the quality of those years is not going to be the same as my first 58 years. The quality of life, just by the fact that my ageless soul is contained within a decomposing human body, that I have a much shorter amount of time to live in a body that works well before it starts to just break down. It's how we're built. So I am on this mission to inspire you to carpe diem about your future years. You know, they go by quickly. We got a tax bill in the mail yesterday, and I said to my husband, oh my God, are you kidding me? Is it already the time of year that I say, hey, does this get paid by our escrow and in our mortgage? And he says, yes, I tell you that every year, but I say every year I forget. So then he says, here, it's like this whole routine we have. And I'm like, oh my God, has a year already gone by? They go faster and faster. So make note of that and start living the life you want to live today. Today. Okay? All right, here we go. Yep, cat mama. I love the melamine too. I love the vintage stuff. I love it because I don't want to fear breaking stuff when I bring it out onto the patio, and I love the casualness of it. Okay. All right. I love it. I love this, you guys. You are giving each other some really good tips. Care and share. Buy nothing groups. Dress for success to donate my shoes. Yeah. You know, my mother was a hoarder. Yeah. Notice the people who haven't figured it out, who didn't figure it out, who weren't given the resources to realize that there was help out there. So they tried to self-medicate. They tried to surround themselves and build a nest of security with stuff, you know? Yeah. Yeah, all that work, and what did it get me? Hold on to stuff that I wasn't using, yeah. But we have to learn these things, you know? I love it, you guys. Yeah, Abbott, oh, interesting. Abbott Elementary, nice to see you. First time visiting a friend's home and in shock and awe of the absolute absence of clutter. How? Because everybody's got different thoughts and feelings, and they grew up differently. We are all wired differently, but that doesn't mean you can't rewire yourself. You know this, Abbott, because Abbott, hey, Abbott. I'm going to call you that next time on a coaching call, right? You can change. But change into the person. Here's the thing. You're not going to change into somebody you don't want to be. Change yourself into the person you want to be. If you don't want to live in a very minimalist household, nobody says you have to. You know? Notice this. Yeah. Notice these things. There we go. Brittany says, waking up today, saying I'm ready to tackle some of the clutter today. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Notice these things, people. And the universe. I believe in the universe. I do. I believe in coincidences of happenstance. So many awesome things in my life have happened because I've been open to possibility. That I've been open to, that I've tried different things. I met my husband because I got on a plane to Los Angeles, California from Boston, Massachusetts in the late 90s and went out to see a band play in LA. If I didn't go see that band, I would not be talking to you today from this gorgeous little tiny patio. Being married 22 years to a guitar player. Be open to creating the life you want. If you shut down, if you're like, nope, that's never going to happen to me. It happened to her. It's not going to happen to me. I can't do it. It's too late. I'm too old. Blah, blah, blah. All the negative stuff. You're not going to change. But you can notice those voices, and those are the voices that are holding you back. Yep. And cluttered home can be cluttered mind, but that is also depending upon different people. You know, my home has stuff in it. You've seen it. I do TikToks from inside my house. But it has the right amount of stuff for us. The stuff that we have is curated in a loving way because it has love behind everything. It is well displayed. It is hung up and treasured with love so it doesn't look cluttered. But it may to other people who are used to 4 white walls. It's all what you're kind of used to. Yeah. Yeah, Kara, I know. Maybe it's a generational thing that we collected vintage for a while, and you realize that was fun until it wasn't. I say this all the time. It was fun until it wasn't. But when it doesn't become fun, ask yourself, why is it not fun anymore? And solve for that to make it fun again. Now, I truly don't have that much fun anymore just going to thrift stores, so I don't do it. I don't go to garage sales. If I'm buy one and I might see something, but rarely. I like to do other things with my time, even if it's just moving at a slower pace. Even just 10 years ago, I would not be here on TikTok because I don't think TikTok was invented. I would be up at the crack of dawn going to thrift stores, going to garage sales, and going to more thrift stores, going to yard sales, going to auctions, trying to fill my home and fill my life with stuff. That worked for a while. It was fun, and then it wasn't anymore. Yeah. Oh, funny. Pyrex is art to you, Christine, Houston Realtor. Let me give you somebody on TikTok here. Joe Retro, J-O-R-E-T-R-O, she's in Havre de Grace, Maryland. She's like, to me, she's the Pyrex queen. So if you love that stuff, you can just go into her place and fill in. Yeah, it's awesome. She's here on TikTok. Go check it out. All right, so let me back up here, people. Okay, Brittany, Boston girly there you go. I'm from the burbs, so it's so funny. And you guys, okay, this is so funny. Do I practice feng shui? Yeah, I am very sensitive to where things are placed in a home. And I say this, though. I come from a half-assed version of feng shui because I used to study it in the 80s, but also because I used to be a visual merchandiser for Pier 1 Imports when I lived in Mass. Did I work anywhere else? No, just when I was in Mass. And so I tend to look at things in a functional way to say, like, it's how it feels, but also how it functions. Like, how would it feel if the head of the bed was right there? So that's more furniture and stuff. But I say, how do I feel when I go in the room? Like the funny thing was, speaking of feng shui, just real quick, we had friends over. We had never put this queen-size aero bed into that room because we hadn't had it until, seriously, like Tuesday morning when it got delivered from Amazon. We rarely do that, but it worked. So we put it in one place in the bedroom, and then we set it up for them because we had a short amount of time. Then as I was deflating it, or not deflating it, when I was tidying up that room yesterday, because I still haven't deflated it, I said, oh, you know what might be better? And I turned it from this way to that way, and suddenly it opened up the room. And I said, oh, functionality, this will give them more room. If somebody else came to visit, we'll set it up this way next time because it will give more room. Okay. Yep. There you go. Yeah, seriously, Wendy Rose, get your Fiesta wear out. Seriously. And here's the thing. I remember this from when I worked in Mikasa, I worked at Pier 1, and my grandmother and my great aunts used to work at a China importer back in the 20s and 30s that imported China, not from China, probably from, maybe from China. It's so funny. Jones McDuffie, you can Google them. They were from, they was in Boston. So I grew up thinking fancy plates and silverware was a show of like you made it. I will share this with you. The more you use your plates, both the china, the bone china, the china version, and even the ceramic version, that makes them stronger. It makes them less likely to break. Here's why. Because when you use your plates and your ceramics or your china, you expose it to varying degrees of temperature. When you heat it up, when you cool it down, when it goes into the dishwasher, or you hand wash it with warm water and then it cools down. Every time you do that, it's strengthening the internal filaments. It's almost like, how they make it strong by putting it in a kiln. It's the same type of thing. When you use it, you expose it to different temperatures. But if you let it sit and you never use it, it just stays there, kind of like a bone, like it's like using a muscle, and it will more easily crack. So use the stuff you have so it works better and you get to enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah, here's an interesting thing too. LA64367 says, I'm getting rid of heavy dinnerware, would like the Corelle ware, better is lightweight. I think about that too. I think about that even though I have Fiesta ware, it is heavy. It is heavy. It's heavier than Harlequin ware, for example, or many other things. But I really like my dishes, so as long as I have them, what I might do is I might reduce the quantity of dishes that I have, so I don't have to, like I stack, I know, judge me, I stack my lunch plates on top of my dinner plates because we have a small cupboard. I may reduce the amount of the ones that I stack, so I have to pull off fewer of them. Okay? So, yep, okay. So, people, we get like 15 minutes here, right? There we go. My New England peeps. Oh, funny. Rainwater. Yeah, visual merchandiser for 30 years. But know about clutter. Yeah, do we know about clutter? Yeah, you know why? Because we edited out all the clutter so things looked good, so people felt good where they were, and then they bought our stuff. Yeah. Are you going to declutter today? Now, here's a funny thing. I'm asking myself, am I going to declutter today? Here's a really cool thing. I do have some things in the basement. I'm not going to lie. I do have some things in the basement that I could go through. Or not. Because the basement isn't impacted. It's like 5% of what's in the basement is stuff that I haven't gone through to declutter. I love having my time back. The time that I used to have to spend an entire Saturday decluttering. Once you declutter and you don't bring other things in, decluttering is decreasing the amount of stuff. Keeping it decluttered is changing your habits. This is what my coaching does. Helping you wade through the stuff that you have accumulated and helping you part with it in a way that feels good to you, but also learning new habits about how to not reclutter again and pile it up. I have stopped recluttering. It's only taken me, seriously, like 30 or 40 years. It's only been in the last 5 to 10 that we just don't, my husband and I both, we bonded. When we first met, we both loved to go to thrift stores. So we both have stuff down in the basement. But now we're at a different point of our lives. And the neat thing is, I have so much more free time. I have so much more money and free time now that I do not have clutter, that I do not bring clutter in. I have money because I'm not spending it on stuff that I don't want or need. And I have more time because I'm not spending my entire beautiful Saturday in summer stuck in the basement or doing decluttering or going through my drawers or, decluttering will take time. That is time you won't get back. But the thing is, it's an investment in your time because everybody who's told me that they have decluttered, especially the surface and the stored, you can do so much without even ever touching your truly sentimental items and be in so much better of a place. Every single person on my TikTok live, on my one-on-one coaching, all these things, on the comments, on the testimonials, it always comes back to this. I decluttered and I feel so much better now. It feels so good. I feel better than I did before I started decluttering. Okay? Yeah. And you know what, Adelia is saying decluttering isn't so bad. No, it isn't. Keeping that way is hard. Why is keeping it that way hard? I will tell you why. And this is a really nice, boring answer. It's because you have habits that get you cluttered again. It's as simple as that, you guys. It really is. Habits of thinking, habits of feeling, habits of doing either keep you decluttered or get you recluttered. Now, do I have clutter right now? Do I have stuff on the counters? A little bit. Do I have dirty dishes in the sink? Yes. Do I have stuff that I need to tidy up from our friends staying over? Yes. It's going to take me like 15 minutes, people. And then, you know me, if you've seen one of my Saturday TikTok lives, because I started doing them on Saturdays because I figured this is where you guys are, not just on the Monday through Fridays. I'm going to sign off from this. I'm going to throw on some clothes. I'm going to wipe the grease off my face, and I'm going to walk down to the farmer's market. Here's a fun thing. You know me, I walk down to the farmer's market. Now, we're going to be around enough that I want to get some tomatoes if they have them. I'm definitely going to, I hope to buy a bouquet of flowers. Can you imagine me? Remember we talked earlier about hoarding everything? Can you imagine if last week when I went to the farmer's market and I tried to hoard all the bouquets because I like them all? No, they'd all be dead like the one that I bought last year. But the neat thing is, too, and I'll share this with you because I did a video of it, is last week's bouquet from the farmer's market went into a certain vase. I thought I would keep it. Now, after seeing it for a week and just noticing how it was shaped, I'm okay to let it go. I used it, and now I'm okay to put it in the box to go to a donation, because I still have another vase. Remember the Kodak one? Some of you guys may have seen it. Or if they only have small bouquets, I'll use that one mason jar. I went from 6 to 3 to 2, and now I have one of one size and one of the other. I feel good about that quantity. It makes putting my flowers into a vase effortless because I only have one to put it in. It feels like, yep, I get them, I put them there, and then I enjoy them, and I'm done. I'm not hemming and hawing. Should I put it in this one, or that one, or this one, or that one? Every single one of those things is a decision, and decision-making will sap your energy. Yeah. Mommy Salami, I am in Pennsylvania. Yeah. There we go. Velvet Arnold. Okay, seriously, I do this all the time, so if you're just running by me, do not underestimate the power of the universe. Maybe your FYP, maybe the way TikTok works, it's reading your brain and it's saying you want to declutter, and all this woman does is talk about declutter and help you get over, not overwhelmed, get over the overwhelm. Somebody said, you know, why do I get overwhelmed and shut down? Because your nervous system is involved. Because you are a human. Okay, Mandy? Let me help you with this. You are not just a thinker, you are a feeler and a doer. Your thinker says words to make your feeler feel one way or the other. So if you're looking at it at the big picture, if your eyes are going, oh my God, there's so much around here, I don't know what to do, there's so much, I don't know how to do this, it's going to take forever, I have no idea what to do. Doesn't that feel like overwhelmed to you? And when you feel overwhelmed, notice the freeze happens where the body doesn't move. So your thinker and your feeler, your head and your heart, are the ones that control your hands. It's almost like you are a robot controlled by, you are a human robot controlled by your heart, your brain, and your heart. So what you do is you go back to the very beginning. You start with, how do I feel? If I feel overwhelmed, are there words going through my head that are causing me to feel overwhelmed? And usually those overwhelmed things tend to be all about things being too big, too hard, too dramatic, too hard. It's going to take too long. All the twos. Think of all that. The TOOs. There's an opposite to that, though. Notice there's a fear. The opposite is love. Overwhelm to down, I like to say, because the opposite to me is small. Instead of overwhelm, everything's too big. How about let's make it too small? Let's make it so small that it seems silly that I can't even start to do that. So I'm going to pick one piece of paper up and put it in the trash can. As soon as you do that, when you break the freeze, when you break the ice, remember you used to play a freeze tag when you were a kid? When you break that freeze, you realize I can get my body moving, but you need to start in here. Slowing down, breathing down, calming down, even just slowing down your life enough to examine what's going on and say, where am I? You're in a car, you're slowing down, you're parked right now on the journey of your life. Park here, turn off the keys and look around. Are you psyched with what you see? Are you psyched at how you feel? When you slow down and look around, you know? If you are, awesome. If there are certain parts that are, awesome. But if they're not, that's okay. Noticing it gives you the power to change it. And that's why I'm here. I show up in your life when you are ready to change those things, but you're saying, I don't know how. I know how. I'm a coach. I'm a geisha. I'm a little girl. No, I am like a coach. I am like a driver's ed teacher. I'm a road trip planner. I'm a co-pilot on the Route 66 journey called your life. And I like to have fun doing it. I wouldn't show up if I didn't enjoy this, people. Trust me. So I'm here for you when you're ready. Okay? There we go. See, Mama Salami, I love it. Time makes you appreciate all the nouns. Such a good one. Because a noun is a person, place, or thing. Yeah. I took a job to the drugstore record machine. Remember that one? Noun is person, place, or thing. People, places, and the things and experiences. Okay? I show up in your life to whisper in your ear, you got this. You can do this. If you want something different in your life, you can do it. It is not too late. It is not. I used to think it was too late when I was freaking 13. Because I grew up being, oh, that's for other people, not us. Nope, too late. This is the life you've got. Be happy for what you have. Don't aspire to more. I love my family and I love where I grew up, but man, am I glad I moved. Okay? Here we go. Kim is saying, you are a great way to start my day. Thank you. You're welcome. Here we go. Schoolhouse Rocky. Yeah, we would be all watching Schoolhouse Rock right now. Remember? Remember No More Kings? Know what I mean? No more kings. All right? Sam says, I've started to use a timer so that I can do what I'm mentally capable of at the time. I love it. I totally recommend the timer. I use it all the time. Get it? Time for timer. And then I carefully poke the toothpicks into the saran wrap. Yeah. Trust me. And, you know, somebody just said, thank you for showing up for us. You know, you're welcome because other people showed up for me. But I went out looking for them. They didn't just knock on my door and be like, rumor has it, you're not too happy with your life. How can I help? I had to go out and look because I realized that I didn't want to die feeling unsettled and frustrated because certain parts of my life weren't working out. I did. And I tried a lot of things. You know, I bought a lot of books. I listened to a lot of people. I went to a freaking weirdo seminar once. And boy, did I learn that's not what I wanted to do or how I wanted to do it. The funny thing was, though, is that for the most part, the message was sound, but the way it was being delivered and the way it was being charged for and the way it just rubbed me the wrong way. So I said, I am going to find what feels right to me. I'm going to do it. I did, and it worked. Then I said, I feel like I could help people because there's not enough of us showing up as humans, showing up as women who are of an age, who like to talk about stuff in a casual way. You will never see me on stage wearing stiletto heels and a tight dress. Nah, not me. That's okay. I'm going to wear my clunky dance goes and something comfortable. That's how I am. That's the stage of life I am. Maybe you are too. I realize the more the world becomes mechanized, the more we desperately need humans. And if I am nothing but human, including my saggy boobs that are getting sweaty because it's already 80 plus degrees when it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay? I am here for you if you want to be here for you. If you're not, keep on scrolling. It's cool. Because there are so many other people out there can help you with stuff. This is how I do it. This is what I do. As that cutie patootie, Rhett Miller would say. This is what I do. This is how I do it. Here's a fun thing, because we only got, thoughts on hobbies that require a lot of stuff. Woodworking. Liz, let me help you with this wicked quick. Not a problem, because decluttering is removing what you don't use and finding a good home for the stuff you do use. That's why people have shops where their tools are so they can easily do the thing they enjoy. If you're a crafter, you do the same thing. Getting rid of the stuff you don't use and finding a good home for what you do use so that when you go to do that hobby, you can easily do it because the stuff is right there. Okay? All right? Yeah. Danielle, oh, hey, nice to see you. Listening to you has changed a lot of my thought process and it helped me a lot. You're awesome. Thank you. This is where the decluttering starts, people. In your head, but even more so in your heart. Now, I only have 2 minutes left, so I won't be able to answer any more questions, but I would love to leave you with this. How you feel is important. We are feeling creatures. That's how we know we are not robots or like pod people from like that movie with Donald Sutherland, right? No, we are humans, and part of being human is feeling feelings. Our feelinger makes us know we want to be drawn towards something. My heart's in it. I'm being drawn towards it. Or we get repelled by something. Start to pay attention, even just today. I say when you walk back into your house, because I'm outside, but when you walk into a room today, don't judge. Just notice how what you see makes you feel. If you look around and you're feeling good, awesome. Keep it up. Liz Lemon high five. But if there are points in a certain room that are making you feel ugh, yeah, ugh. Notice that too. And noticing the stuff that doesn't work out for you is takes you halfway there. Like Bon Jovi, okay? Living on a prayer. Because when you discover what you don't want, I want you to think of it. A line down the middle, another side of the story, on a steno pad, folding the paper in half. My clients are like, oh, she does this all the time. It's true, because there is another side to the story. And when you learn to pay attention to what you don't want, you want the opposite. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? I grew up in a plain square house. I didn't particularly connect with it or care for it. When I saw funky houses, I was like, ooh, I want to live in a place like that. Boom, you guys, I live in a funky place. I look in a room, I look at a countertop and I say, oh, I don't like that. It looks cluttery. I want to get the clutter off and I want to wipe it clean. I don't like it cluttered, so I want a decluttered countertop. What do I need to do? And then I chunk it down. So even today, even if all you say is, I don't know how I want to feel, I don't know how I want it to look, it's awful, that's okay. That's okay, because when you pay attention to the words you use about how it doesn't look or feel or function, I want you to write those down. But I want you to write them down only on half a piece of paper. And then even just knowing that there's another side to the story, I want you to play a game. What's the opposite? And I want you to write those down too. That other side is what we're aiming for, okay? And you can get there because I got there, and I want to help you get there too, okay? So, sorry I didn't get to everybody's thing. I promise. Tomorrow I'm doing a TikTok live too. Tomorrow for more of my West Coast folks, 11 a.m. Eastern, okay? And this is what I do, Liz. This is how I talk all the freaking time. It's just true, because this is where the magic happens, okay? If you like what you're hearing, I do a TikTok live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. There's also a whole schedule for next week because we also travel. So when I'm traveling, I rarely do TikTok live. Sometimes I do. I call them pop-ups. I have a mailing list. Mailing list is awesome, you guys. You get all the good stuff. And it's free. It's free. It's low-key. It's fun. Wonderful community of people. I call it the members-only list because I like to think of those jackets back in the 80s. It just cracks me up. Go to my website, destinationdecluttered.com, to sign up for the mailing list. Also, if you want me to be your one-on-one coach, I do that too. Now, I will share. I need to actually look at my calendar to see if I have any consultation slots available this week. I may not. But if I'm not, the best thing you can do if you want me as your coach is get on my mailing list. Everybody on the mailing list, it's like being on the list when you're married to a rock star. You're always on the list. You get first dibs on everything. You get to go into the show before everybody else. You get to eat catering. You get to meet the famous people. You get to go backstage. You get to walk around the venue. I want to give you that experience with me, and it's just free. It's just a mailing list, okay? But you get first dibs when I'm like, hey, I put some more stuff on the calendar. Before I tell everybody on TikTok, I'm telling you first, okay? There we go. Vicky, it says the mailing list keeps me connected when I can't get to your lives. And wicked quick, I know I'm going over a minute. I'm going to honor that. But just I forgot to mention this. My TikTok lives are recorded and posted to YouTube. Now, if you're on the mailing list, you already have access to the ones in July. I made sure it worked yesterday. Thank you, Erin, for reminding me that the button wasn't working properly. I fixed that. So if you're on the mailing list, you also get first dibs on getting the recordings of the July ones, and then always that current month. Everybody else, if you're not on the mailing list, you do you. You get the ones that are from June beyond, and there are tons of them that you can pop on and listen to and feel better while you're listening to them, okay? And I love it. Kara says, Beth has helped me tremendously. Yes, destinationdecluttered.com. Cat Mama loves the YouTubes. I love it. Oh, hey, nice to see you, G. Schnauzer and Anya. Love you. See you guys soon. I'm going to go inside because I'm starting to sweat. And I do want to walk down the farmer's market and get some flowers, okay? Before I do yoga. I'm so me, all right? You guys rock. You can do this. I'm here to help you when you're ready. And even if you're not ready, hang out and maybe we'll speak to your heart, okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye.